The roar inside this stadium is something else. Let's run you through the Sunderland side again in case you missed it half an hour ago. Patterson is the goalkeeper today. Hume, Ballard, O'Nien and Sirkin across the back. It's Neal and Ekwa with Joe Bellingham just in front of them, with Roberts and Clark either side. Luis Emir, the Portuguese striker, who starts up front today for Sunderland. Ipswich Town. Cladkey, his last league start came in December 2021. He's in goal for Ipswich Town because Walton's injured. We think it'll be a back four: Donatian, Wolfenden, Burgess and Davis, although it could be a three of Donatian, Wolfenden and Burgess, with Davis playing as the left wing back and Wes Burns as the right wing back. We'll keep an eye on that for you. We certainly know in midfield it'll be Luongo and Morsey, with then Broadhead and Chaplin providing the support to George Hurst, who will lead the line today for Ipswich Town. George Hurst, of course, who joined on loan in January 2023 and now made the permanent move from Leicester City. He also had some time at Blackburn earlier in the season, so he's not got the best championship record, without a goal in 41 championship appearances, but he knocked in 19 in the second half of the season in League One, and he's going to be a real handful for Sunderland today, Mickey Gray. Absolutely. They've got talent in those forward positions, as we touched on already. And if you give those players, quality players, time and space, they will punish you. Talked about getting off to the perfect start. This is what it's all about, Adam, isn't it? You know, you see the players come out of the tunnel. I talked about that preparation. All the players will have done every single bit that they possibly can, and it's now down to you as an individual. Do your job. Get the better of your opponent. If you're playing as a left back, you've got to try and get the better of the right winger in that central midfield area. You've got to try and command that area. Win that battle in the first 10 or 15 minutes, because that's what it's all about. Getting the stranglehold, the foot in front of the man who you're up against. And if you can do that, if you can win more battles than you're losing, it gives you a great chance of picking up all 3 points. And at what point, Mickey, and I always wonder this about professional footballers, at what point do you start to feel like you are in good shape? Because, you know, pre-season, you can only do so much, can't you? Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. No, pre-season games are great for the fitness, and obviously a pre-season where you find yourself running up hills and in sand dunes. But really, Adam, honestly, it takes you 4 or 5 games before you reach peak fitness of 100%. And when you get there, it's a great feeling. Does this bring back a great feeling when you hear this roar here? Oh, it's special. I mean, you never tire of stuff like this. It's always been brilliant here. And it's great to see it's nearly a full house here today as well. And that's why I think, you know, Sunderland are expecting a top performance. But this Ipswich side are here to maybe put the dampener on it. They're in a huddle. Of course, their shirts are still sponsored by Ed Sheeran and his latest album. And they are away to our right-hand side in that traditional blue and white. We're going to have a look and see how they appear to be lining up. It does look like they're going in a 4. Yeah, it does. I mean, that might change after a couple of minutes. You just never know. But at least they've got the personnel to change that system if things aren't working for them. But it certainly looks like a 4 right now. You get the impression he has a way of playing, Kieran McKenna. And this is the way as Ipswich Town get us underway, kicking from left to right in the opening 45 minutes and immediately looking to try and get inside the edge of the penalty area. It was good work forward there by Leif Davis, who was trying to combine with George Hurst at the end of the box, but there's an opportunity here maybe for Sunderland to counter down this right-hand side, and it's no surprise that Roberts has got the ball with his feet, couple of step overs and trying to dance inside, and it takes a challenge from the Ipswich Town captain Sam Morsey, who concedes the throw, which Sunderland look to take quite quickly, and Trey Hume will go back inside his own half to Dan Ballard, who of course on Friday signed a new contract here at the Stadium of Light. Only 23 years of age, the Northern Islander. He made 19 appearances last season because he had a few injuries, broken foot, kept him out for 4 months, but he's a big part of Tony Mowbray's plans as that ball's headed forward down this right-hand touchline again by Roberts, who wins it back once more and goes in field where he finds the feet of Dan Neal. And now out wide to the right-hand side again, where it'll be Trey Hume midway inside the Ipswich Town half, and Sunderland keeping possession early here and working the ball nicely by Sirkin out wide to that far left-hand side. It was towards Clark and towards the edge of the penalty area, but in the end it's going to be put back by Wolfenden to the keeper. It's been given away at the edge of the penalty area as they try to play out from the back in that style that Ipswich Town have. Good pressure on the far side from Donatian, and in the end he's given away a free kick, and it's right on the left edge of the penalty area, probably level with the 6-yard box. Yeah, it certainly is, and it was a really good passage of play from Sunderland.
Really patient with the football there. They've worked it really well over to this right-hand side. And Patrick Roberts, well, you want a lung burster, don't you, in the first couple of minutes of a new season? Well, he had to run 50-60 yards with it. But they got the just rewards because Jack Clark, as they switched the ball over to that left-hand side, won that free kick, which gives Sunderland an early opportunity to put pressure on this back line of Ipswich Town.
You're listening to talksport 2, your home of the EFL. 2 minutes played. Sunderland 0, Ipswich Town 0, but this free kick in a dangerous position. It is midway between the edge of the penalty area and the far touchline. It's probably about 7 yards from the byline as well. And here's the right-footed ball laid across to the edge of the 6-yard box. Not the best of deliveries. In fact, it was fairly atrocious, and Morsey with a fairly comfortable header away for Ipswich Town. Sunderland with Joe Bellingham down this right-hand side. Lovely interplay as it's helped on its way by Trey Hume, but couldn't find Bellingham again. And it gets cleared by Leif Davis this time down this left-hand touchline. And the referee says play on, despite the fact that George Hurst had gone to ground midway inside the Sunderland half looking for a free kick. And Sunderland will bring it clear from the edge of their own penalty area. And it's with Pierre Ekwa, the former West Ham man. And gives it short to O'Nien at the edge of his own penalty area. Played so many different positions last season, but this was the one he was in the most, and that's as a centre-back. And again, Václav Lankey, as I mentioned, not started a game since December 2021 in the league, and he looks a little bit uneasy as he puts it on a play. Yeah,
I mean, Ipswich as a whole, I think they look a little bit shaky, as if, you know, they don't want to concede in the first few minutes. Giving the ball away, they look a little bit scrappy, and it's coming from the goalkeeper.
They are. Bellingham's fouled on the far side. Is he surely by the corner flag? Looked like he was pulled down, but the referee's having none of it.
Well, I mean, look, I'm one for referees letting things go, but sometimes you can see a blatant foul in front of you, and this time Joe Bellingham, he goes to ground there, and there's no reason for him to go to ground. He wants to stay on his feet. He wants to make something happen for his side. But what has impressed me so far from him, Adam, I know we're early on in the game, but his runs from midfield. He's not staying in a line. He's trying to break the lines, which is very positive.
There's a lot of talk, Mickey, certainly from the Birmingham contingent, that he's got that potential to be better than his brother. I mean, which would be something else.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think I've seen him make his debut, and you just saw he had something about him. He's obviously raw. He's still young. He's going to learn the game, but over the next couple of seasons, he's got the perfect place to learn his trade. Yeah, he made his first league start actually against Sunderland, and £1.5 million is the reported figure plus some add-ons. I mean, that's an absolute steal. Absolutely. No two ways about it. Sunderland have possession just short of halfway. We've had 4.5 minutes on talksport 2, your home of the EFL, where it remains Sunderland 0, Ipswich Town 0, but it's Ipswich doing all the defending and Sunderland seeing all of the football. There's Hume, who had made his way in from this right-hand touchline towards the edge of the centre circle. It's laid off nicely, but Dan Neal was on the charge towards the edge of the box. Lovely dummy from Bellingham. Out wide, left-hand edge of the penalty area. Cuts towards the byline, pulls it back, almost came towards Bellingham, and it nearly fell on that occasion to Emir, who was lurking at the edge of the 6-yard box. Instead, lovely little flick wide. Bellingham from the right-hand side tries to lay the ball across. Deflected behind, and immediately his arms are raised as he just tries to gee up the crowd behind that Ipswich Town goal, because it's a Sunderland corner. Well, from the home side, it's a brilliant start. They've been really positive. Their movement looks absolutely fantastic. They're all on the same page. They know what each other's job is. Whereas Ipswich are on the back foot. Kieran McKenna's scratching his head, wondering, how are we going to get out? The outlet is for Hurst, but they just can't get hold of the ball at the moment. Here is Jack Clark on this right-hand side to take the corner from Sunderland. The run's been made short by Roberts. He chooses to ignore it. Clark instead will look to put it into the danger zone. It evades everyone. It wasn't the best of deliveries. Bellingham's the one who's left the penalty area to go and collect it just over halfway. And they'll look to build again here. Tony Mowbray's side. Wherever Tony Mowbray has managed, football is at the centre of everything. There is no long ball. There is no knocking it forward. Sometimes criticism, particularly in his time up in Scotland, was that maybe there were too many passes. But he's a master of the art of possession and passing football. And this Sunderland side have started brilliantly today. On that far side, pressure being applied to O'Nien, who's done really well just to see the ball back safely to the feet of Patterson. Patterson out wide to this right-hand side to Hume, who's lost possession on this near touchline, and trying to get beyond him was Broadhead, and the chase is on there for Leif Davis, and the free kick is given Sunderland's way, which they'll take quickly, and that will allow Patrick Roberts again
down this right-hand side to drive forward. Clark is ghosting in acres of space towards the far edge of the penalty area. If Roberts can get the better of the two Ipswich players, he's just tried to squeeze between, those being Morsey and Davis, and the assistant on this near side, who is Bhupinder Singh Gill, puts his flag up, and it's a free kick again for Sunderland.
Well, Tony Mowbray, there's no question he's tried to work and trying to get the two wide players involved in the game as much and as quick as he possibly can, with Jack Clark and Patrick Roberts over on this right-hand side. It looks a real live wire, doesn't he? Started off absolutely fantastic. But Ipswich, again, they're having to double up with Morsey and Davies. They don't want to be in that position. I said they've got to try and find that outlet, whether it's George Hurst running in behind a full-back and a centre-half, but just got to get themselves into this game as quick as they possibly can, because they've struggled so far.
A couple of yards outside the penalty area, a couple of yards in from this near touchline on the right-hand side. It's left for Clark to deliver. Right-footed, this one's, well, I was going to say it was better. The angle was better, but the distance was way off again.
Yeah, his set pieces have been really poor. Well, I think we can criticise in certain areas. We're 8 minutes into the start of a new season, but Jack Clark has had a real good opportunity over on the left-hand side to whip it in towards the Ipswich goalkeeper. Got it wrong, didn't get enough height on it, and this time he gets too much height and too much loft and ends up going out for a throw-in for Ipswich Town, and hopefully gives them the opportunity to get into this game.
Just over 8 minutes played on talksport 2. It remains Sunderland 0, Ipswich Town 0. It's a volley back pass to Patterson, which he controlled well. He'll be under some pressure with the arrival of Nathan Bishop, of course, from Manchester United. They paid a good fee for him. Good competition for Patterson in the Sunderland goal, who are on the attack again here. It's Clark. He's just dispossessed, and actually Clark got the final touch, according to Sam Barrett, our referee, and it will be a goal kick for Ipswich Town away to our right-hand side, and a chance for them to potentially clear their lines here, and it will be maybe a little respite for Ipswich Town.
Yeah, you would think that, Adam, would you? But the way that they're set up now, they've got the two centre-halves alongside the goalkeeper, as if they want to get the ball down and start to play out from the back. And again, you start the beginning of the season, and that's exactly what they've done. They have to be careful doing this, because this is where you're going to get caught out. This is a bigger division.
It is, and probably actual, you would think as well, when Walton, who was in the goal last season's there, maybe it's a bit more comfortable. But with the 32-year-old Czech in there, Václav Hladký, who made 9 appearances in cup competitions, he doesn't look quite as comfortable as Walton used to.
No, he certainly doesn't, but I think, look, if a manager asks you a certain way to play out from the back, you've got to take the word of your manager. You can't just go out on the pitch and start playing long balls if he wants to get it out from the back. Look, they actually worked it quite cleverly, but it was Morsey who eventually got caught on the ball. In Sunderland, they just pounced on it. 2 or 3 players around the player who's on the ball. He's got no options. And this is where they've got to try and find that outlet. We talked about Connor Chaplin. I can't wait to see him play. I've heard so much about him, but he can't get involved in the game yet.
And there's Morsey inside the centre circle, tracked all the way by Dan Neal, who was closing him down. Maybe we'll see a chance for Chaplin to get involved in a few moments if Ipswich can string a few passes together. But they've gone back towards their own penalty area, away to our right-hand side. Luke Wolfenden is there, and he's dispossessed, and he's dispossessed well that time by Emir. And the switch in field for Sunderland. Neal, lovely 1-2 at the edge of the penalty area. Neal tries the shot, great block at the edge of the penalty area, offered up that time by Burgess, and out of play for a corner down the right-hand side.
Well, I mean, how many times do you keep playing out from the back and giving the ball away? Brilliant play again from Lewis Emir to win the ball back for his side, and then you can see the forward players of Sunderland, they're just thinking about moving forward. Lovely little give and go there from Dan Neal on his weaker left foot, tried to get his strike away, blocked, but it gives Sunderland another opportunity from the corner.
Roberts has taken over set piece delivery, and he delivers it to the near post, but again not very good, and comfortably headed away by the Ipswich Town skipper Morsey. Back in a second time though towards the back post, and gathered by the big Czech Hladký, and he'll have a chance to get it clear for Ipswich Town away to our right hand side. The remainder of the Community Shield is live right now over on talksport. It remains 0-0 between Arsenal and Manchester City. Once that is done, Jamie O'Hara and Jermaine Pennant will bring you the full-time phone-in, taking all of your calls to discuss the weekend's football on the opening weekend of the EFL season. You can have your say from 6:30 this evening. That's over on talksport. And don't forget as well, as if you could, tomorrow morning, last 16 of the Women's World Cup, England against Nigeria. That's an 8:30 kickoff, and you can catch that game live on talksport 2 tomorrow morning from 8:30. USA knocked out earlier today. Another big favourite gone. Is everything falling in the lap of England and Serena Vigneault? There's a foul on the far side as forward come Sunderland again, midway inside the Ipswich half. It's Jack Clark who is fouled, and it's going to be a free kick. It may not have been Clark, actually, sorry, my mistake. It looks like it was the driving force that time of Dennis Sirkin that was fouled, and I don't think it'll be long before there's yellow cards under these new rules this season, will it?
Well, we know our referees like to start the season, don't we, Adam? I mean, they just pull that card out as quick as they possibly can. I think we know that for the first 3 or 4, maybe even 5 or 6 games, that there'll be a lot of discipline. We've seen it in technical areas over the weekend as well, but the players have got to be so disciplined, and they've just got to basically get on with their job because they know exactly what's coming. But going back to the football side of things, I was expecting a better start from Ipswich, I have to say that. We didn't know whether it was going to be a 5 at the back, whether Kieran might change that as this first half progresses, but they just can't get themselves involved in the game. I'm trying to pick them up a little bit here because I know they've got quality players, but they have not shown anything yet.
Yeah, Burns and Chaplin were so instrumental in their success and their attacking success last season in League One, but neither of them able to even get a foot on the ball in the opening exchanges here as they stand off again once more as Sunderland go forward down that left-hand side. But they're patient in their build-up. O'Neill will just feed the ball through and does it brilliantly to Dan Neal, who's in an advanced position down this right-hand side. Finds Roberts 30 yards from goal. Lovely slip ball inside to Neal, just a yard too much on it. And across to do the defensive work this time can come Morsey, who's always in that deep position. And now a chance maybe for a break down this left-hand side for Ipswich Town. Driven forward by Luongo, the former Sheffield Wednesday midfielder, of course, who featured in that playoff semi-final between Sunderland and Sheffield Wednesday from 2 seasons ago. But the throw has gone Sunderland's way down this right-hand side. And we've had 13 and a half minutes here on talksport 2. It remains 0-0, but Sunderland by far and away the better side. Mickey Gray.
Very dominant in the first 13 and a half minutes of this game. Sunderland, the home side. I think Ipswich players are still out there scratching their heads because they've got no outlet ball. Luongo can't get involved in the game. Chaplin, and then even Nathan Broadhead, who's coming shorter and maybe deeper than he wants to come in the game because he wants to get involved. He's probably frustrated, but they've just got to try and find their feet, find their way, find a system that's going to work for them. But the big old adage is, Adam, it's still 0-0.
It is. I mean, in terms of league games, both these two ended last season in terrific form. Sunderland didn't lose in their last 9, and as Mickey alluded to earlier, 19 unbeaten for Ipswich Town at the end of that League One campaign. And we talked earlier on about leading those stats in terms of goals scored and being the tightest defence, but also in possession as well. Well, they're not winning the possession stats today.
No.
That's sure so far against this Sunderland side. Here come Sunderland down the right with Roberts. Ball into space for him to chase onto. He's not going to get there first, and it'll have to be swept up at the back by Leif Davis, which it is. And then the pass back out on this near side to Davis is given away. It's Dan Neal into the box. Roberts on the charge. Good foot in from Leif Davis again, just to win that ball back. And away they'll come down this left-hand side, and it takes an intervention from Ballard to put the ball into touch, and Ipswich will have the throw down this near side. And well, Leif Davis, 23 years of age, so far is making some crucial interventions. He was in the League One team of the season last season, and already he's doing his best to try and thwart Patrick Roberts. Yeah,
well, it's going to be a difficult afternoon for him, isn't it, if he's got a lot of 1v1s, but all the problems are coming from Pladke in the Ipswich goal, because he's obviously not a goalkeeper that's comfortable with his feet. He's trying to play out from the back, but he's putting his own teammates under pressure when there's no need for them to be under pressure.
First touch for Chaplin, tees it up for Broadhead, edge of the penalty area, out wide to that right hand side. Burns will get the crossover towards the back post. Davis arrives with a shot. Oh, what a clearance off the line that is at the far post, and it was needed in the end. Well, I don't know if the shot was going to go wide. He almost put it into the back of his own net. 0-9, and it's going to be a corner for Ipswich Town. First attack for Ipswich, and they've come the closest to scoring.
Well, it was a great break. They worked it really well to the right-hand side. It's a lovely ball into the area. You can see that Trey Humes being dragged into this 6-yard area, and he's left acres of space out on this left-hand side for the strike to come in. And it looked for all as if it was going to hit the back of the net, but brilliant defending from Luke O'Neill.
There's a chance at the edge of the box for Morsey from the corner that resulted inside the penalty area. The driven shot has to be well saved by Patterson. The shot coming in from Wes Burns that time. Tight angle on this left-hand side, and Patterson was down quickly to make the good save.
Well, you talk about football and having all these possession stats, but the best opportunities now in the game have come to Ipswich Town. Could have scored 2 goals in the space of 25 to 30 seconds, but that's what it's all about. That split second of just growing in confidence, growing into the game. In the last minute or so, Ipswich been absolutely fantastic.
Yep, as soon as you put that Sunderland defence under a little bit of pressure, a bit of creaking, which we saw at times last season, of course. They conceded 55 goals last season, having scored 68, so slightly in the positive, as you can imagine, as they were in the top 6. That's a lovely flick towards Broadhead at the edge of the penalty area from George Hurst, but didn't quite work out, and the flag was up anyway, and it will be a free kick. And maybe those couple of opportunities are just going to allow these Ipswich Town players just to grow in confidence.
Well, absolutely, and you can see now Leif Davis down this left-hand side with that first opportunity. He's growing in confidence, now bursting over the halfway line, asking Patrick Roberts, are you going to come with me? I'm the full-back, but if you let me go, I'm going to cause problems to your back line. Great ball into the area again. It did always look offside, but that's what you want from your full-backs, making space for your teammates.
14 assists last season for Leif Davis in League One. Born in Newcastle as well. He's a product of Wall's End before making the move. Lovely bit of skill from Joe Bellingham, about 35 yards from goal. Switches it to Clark inside the penalty area. Serkin's there as well, as Sunderland try and work it through. Comes to Bellingham again. Oh, lovely at 1-2. Clark pulls it back, and it has to be headed behind by Wolfenden inside the 6-yard box, and Sunderland have another corner.
Super play. Joe Bellingham has started the game on fire. I mean, he looks at home, doesn't he, in this stadium? His little runs, bursting forward, but a little give and go this time to get the ball to the byline. And that nice little cross into the area there. Wolfenden was in the right place at the right time just to clear his lines, but Sunderland, when they do break forward, look excellent.
Jack Clark is off corners. Roberts on the far side this time as well. Left-footed. Swings that one across. Almost comes to Ballard. It's driven in by Serkin. Comes to Bellingham at the edge of the box. Just a little touch to try and tee himself up. Doesn't quite work out for him, but Clark's there. Offside flag's up, and that will be a free kick to Ipswich Town. Level with a penalty spot away to our right-hand side. Almost 19 minutes played here on talksport 2. Sunderland 0, Ipswich Town 0. As things stand earlier today, Leicester 2, Coventry 1 in our first championship commentary of the day, and then Leeds 2, Cardiff 2, as we bring an action-packed EFL weekend to a close here at the Stadium of Light.
Well, you might have a superstar on your hands in a Sunderland shirt in Joe Bellingham. I know you just mentioned it, Adam, there before, but he just looks so comfortable, doesn't he? Full of confidence. Normally takes young players a little bit of time to bed into a new football club, but absolutely on fire in the first 15 minutes of this game. If he can continue that, what a player.
Far wide on the right hand side for Ipswich Town as they try to come forward courtesy of Wes Burns, but he's stopped in his tracks and it's back with Bellingham. I don't know about you, Mickey, but his gait and his style of running and everything, I mean, he's a piece from a pod, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look, big shoes to fill, absolutely. He is the younger brother, but if you've got somebody to look up to like your brother and you see what he's done in the game and you can emulate that at such a young age, then it just gives you something to thrive towards.
I'm sure somewhere in Madrid a feed of this game is being viewed by a very proud older brother right now, as down the right hand side comes Roberts, gets it into Emir towards the edge of the penalty area. Good strong defending though by Wolfenden and co for Ipswich Town as they look to bring it out. Morsey tried the short little pass again, that time in to Luongo, who lost possession. It's back with the keeper in his 6-yard area, who has to clear first time up towards halfway, which he does, but again it's gathered up by Pierre Ekwa for Sunderland, and they will just take their time through Ballard and then down this right hand side Trey Hume to look to build again from inside their own territory. Dan Neal has it. He's back with Ballard again. Once more infield to Neal. His last 4 goals have all been scored here for Dan Neal at the Stadium of Light. Got sent off at the start of last season in August in that game against Sheffield United, but he made 42 starts last season for a man who's come through the ranks here at Sunderland. Roberts, good feet from Roberts again. Good sliding challenge that time from Luongo to win it back. And now Luongo breaks through that centre circle. He's just run away from him, and it will be gathered up by 09. And now out wide to that left-hand side, looking for Clark. Chested down to Bellingham, 35 yards from goal. Bellingham slips it into Emir. Out wide again to Clark on the angle of the penalty area. On his right foot, Sirkin is going to go outside him, is he? He's coming back inside though. Ekwa with a shot, drives it across, palmed away, Bellingham puts the rebound over the bar from 12 yards out.
Oh, it's so unlucky. I mean, again, it's fantastic play, and Joe Bellingham involved in the play yet again. But as that ball comes out to Ekwa, it's a super strike. He keeps it low, he gets it on target. Asked the questions of Ladke in that Ipswich Town goal, but that reaction of just trying to put the ball into the back of the net first time. Can you take a touch? Can you compose yourself? Have that touch, know what's around you, just to compose and just slot that ball into the back of the net. Big opportunity for Sunderland.
17 years old. Sometimes there will be moments that it shows, won't it? But what a chance for Sunderland and for Joe Bellingham to start his Sunderland career in style. They've given that away in the centre circle though. Hurst gets it wise to Burns. Burns back into Hurst, misses his kick, and then he's intercepted inside the penalty area, and it had to be by Sirkin. They were in real trouble for a moment there, Sunderland. A poor pass in the centre circle and literally cut open by Burns and Hurst. And now they'll get it clear again from the edge of their own penalty area. Scary moments once more for the Black Cats. And they win it back again. Ekwa gets it forward towards halfway, but Wolfenden is there to combine nicely with Donatien, and Ipswich Town will gather possession once more.
What a chance. Best chance of the game for me. And George Hurst just gets it completely wrong. Brilliant play from Wes Burns over on that right hand side, a little give and go. But that through ball, you're just asking the question, is he onside? Well, yes, he was. And first time as a striker, I think you've got to hit the target. I mean, he completely misses the ball. It goes in between his own legs, but that's a huge chance.
Expect better from George Hurst, as we mentioned earlier on. Got 19 League One goals to his name, 6 of them coming for Ipswich Town in the back half of last season. Oh, lovely feet. Joe Bellingham, he's just managed to take that ball away from Luongo.
He looks brilliant, Adam. Look, I mean, it's on first seeing the confidence that he's showing, how comfortable he is on the ball, knowing what's around him, the awareness. What a player they could have in the hands here, Sunderland.
Roberts with the ball at feet, wide to the right-hand side. Hume is there, midway inside the Ipswich Town half. Back with Roberts again, who's trying to pick out the run of Emir, but instead it's easily intercepted that time by Burgess. And it's back with Ladke in the Ipswich Town goal away to our right-hand side. Beyond the midway point of the first half on talksport 2, your home of the EFL, where it remains Sunderland 0, Ipswich Town 0. Edge of the penalty area, Wolfenden's got it. Mickey's arms are up in the air already. What are you doing?
I don't get it, Adam. Look, if you're going to play out from the back, your two centre-halves should split to the corners of the 18-yard box, like they kind of are now. But they're doing that for a reason, so you can play it out to one of your centre-halves. There, as he's just done right in front of me now, it opens the pitch up, and then the centre-halves can come through, and it just makes problems or causes problems for Sunderland.
It's a long direct pass from Wolfenden, but couldn't find Hurst in any way, shape or form, and allows Sunderland a chance to clear, which they do, to just beyond halfway, and Ipswich Town will gather up possession once more. It's been a great start to this EFL season throughout this weekend. Some huge games. Wrexham obviously losing the hour opener to MK Dons, an 8-goal thriller there. Big wins elsewhere, as we mentioned. Plymouth victorious over Huddersfield. QPR getting a thumping defeat by 4-0 as well in the Championship yesterday. We'll cover all of that off. EFL All Access tomorrow night, 7 o'clock here on talksport 2. Hugh Wozencroft, Sam Parkin in the chair, and it'll be available as a podcast as well throughout the season. Here's Morsey, midway inside his own half for Ipswich Town. The Ipswich Town skipper, 44 appearances in the League One campaign last season for Morsey. The most successful passes as well in League One, but Bellingham's just nipped in there. And here again goes Ekwa, thinking of a shot 35 yards out, and then the little layoff that time by Emir. Couldn't find Bellingham, and it allows Ipswich Town just to break as the sun comes out at the Stadium of Light. Half of the pitch bathed in beautiful sunshine, the other half in the shadow of the huge stand, which we sit right at the top of. Adam Bridge and Mickey Gray here for you on talksport 2 as Roberts cuts in on that left foot. Ball into the edge of the box, little layoff towards Roberts again, was coming from Neil, but couldn't find him, and Ipswich are thwarted as they try to break down this left-hand side. But Sunderland have it back. In fact, they've conceded possession, and it'll be a throw to Ipswich Town midway inside their own half.
Well, there's two things from an Ipswich perspective that I can see in front of me, Adam, from Kieran McKenna's side. They're trying to slow the game down because they can't get any flow into it so far in this first half. But also what they're trying to do is they're trying to entice the midfield players from Sunderland to break forward, and then they'll leave gaps. But they're not. They're too savvy and too clever for that at the moment.
Here's Neil at the edge of the penalty area to Bellingham. Oh, the call of man on came because Chaplin closed him down and won possession. Only as far, though, as Pierre Ekwa. And out wide to this right-hand side is Hume. And Sunderland not frightened to go all the way back to Patterson. But again, what you see when they do is that both centre-backs peel off to the edge of the penalty areas, as you're talking about, which Ipswich aren't really doing right now.
No, absolutely, yeah. You've got to try and make the pitch as big as you possibly can. You know, sometimes if you can't play that forward pass, you've got your centre-half, so they're your outlet. And they're playing it really well. You can see the confidence and the way that they're passing the ball around Sunderland. But Ipswich, as we see right in front of us now, they've got somebody in their face all of the time. They've got no split second on the ball to get their head up, to try and play that ball out to a wide area. It's like they've got no game plan when they get into those final third positions.
Luongo there was fouled, that's for sure. And it's a free kick for Ipswich Town midway inside their own half. Certainly growing into this game. 28 minutes old now, this first half. On talksport 2, it remains 0-0. The Might of the Community Shield is live right now over on talksport between Arsenal and Manchester City. You can swipe if you're listening on the talksport app if you would like to listen to talksport. It's very simple. If you don't have the app, may I suggest you get it downloaded for the season ahead. You're going to need it. About 450 live games coming your way across the talksport network between now and, of course, the Euros coming up next summer. That's a long way off, though. 28 minutes played, 0-0. And Sunderland with a throw down this right-hand side. And again, it's with Trey Hume, the Northern Ireland international. Signed from Linfield back in 2022. Signed a new 4-year contract at the club as well. So once more, one for the future. I mean, whatever you want to say about the recruitment policy here and the idea of buying youngsters that aren't for now, I mean, Joe Bellingham looks like he's for now, to be fair.
I mean, there's certain individuals that you watch at times, Adam, when you haven't really seen too much of them, and they just catch your eye. And it's not just when he's on the ball, it's when he's out of possession as well. His movement, his runs in behind to make space for his teammates. It's like he's playing beyond his years. He's got that experience in the brain already, and it's from watching your brother and just picking up the best bits.
Here's Neil on the right foot, tries the shot, and it just whizzes part wide of the right-hand post of Václav Ladky, the Czech 6'2" keeper for Ipswich Town. It wasn't the strongest of strikes that time from Dan Neil. Scuffed it a little bit, or as you'd call it in cricket terms, probably clothed it as it was just wide of the right-hand post. It's not the kind of strike we expect from Dan from distance.
Yeah, and he does score some wonder goals as well, doesn't he, with both feet, Dan Neil. You know, he talked about the fall, I think, that he got last season there as well, Adam, but he's certainly got a strike on him, and that would have been a great opportunity. You know, your eyes light up, don't they, when you're 20 yards out at an angle. You know that the goalkeeper hasn't started well for Ipswich Town. That's a big opportunity.
Sunderland with possession again, midway inside their own half. Pressure coming that time from Hurst and from Connor Chaplin, who's trying to close things down and work his way into this game because they're fairly absent so far. Well, Sirkin's done brilliantly here, still going towards the edge of the penalty area, but he was off balance and just lost out to Wolfenden and ended up on his backside. Morsey will flick that out wide to that right-hand side. Burns is on the run there, but Chaplin has possession now over halfway. Burns is outside him, but Chaplin's going direct here. Good sliding challenge from Bellingham, but it still comes to Burns on the right-hand side. Ooh. And that's a horrendous cross. The last season, he put in the most crosses of anyone in League One. Didn't say whether they stayed in pitch or not. That one certainly didn't. And it's a goal kick for Sunderland.
No, absolutely not, but it was better. You know, you talk about them growing into the game, and you can see certain spells in this football match where you can see Morsey getting on the ball just in that centre circle, trying to get on the half turn, getting the forward players involved in it. And when he does, you can see the willing runners on the left and the right hand side of Chaplin and Broadhead.
Talking of willing runners, here's Roberts wide on the right-hand side for Sunderland, midway inside the Ipswich Town half. He's closed down by Leif Davis, who has just kept him quiet in the last few minutes, probably more due to the fact that Davis has been pushing forward himself. Here's Neil, just given possession away, but again in tight areas. Ipswich are playing with it at the edge of their own penalty area. They come away with it via Morsey, and then also via the advancing Luongo. That's going to be the first yellow card of the game, and it goes the way of Trey Hume, and you could probably tell it was coming by Mickey Gray's reaction.
Yeah, and that's why I talked before the game, in the build-up to this game, Adam, about players having to be really careful, because referees are after them. Sam Barrett this time, he was right in front of it, and Trey Hume knew that the player was getting past him, and it's just a cynical foul. He had to bring him down, and I think that's what referees are trying to stamp down on, giving a yellow card. And now we know for the rest of the game that you can't make any more mistakes.
13 minutes remaining in the first half here on talksport 2. It's still 0-0 between Sunderland and Ipswich Town. Ipswich Town on the attack from that free kick, though. Luongo does really well this time to push it out to this right-hand side, but it's picked up by Hume. Hume is closed down by the advancing Broadhead, who we've not seen too much of in the opening 32 minutes of this game. And it will be a throw on this right-hand touchline for Sunderland. A reminder, we've got Premier League action for you next weekend. The big kick-off on Friday night, but 4 live commentaries throughout the weekend, culminating on Monday Night Football, of course, Manchester United against Wolves from Old Trafford, and kicking off with Burnley against Manchester City on Friday Night Football as well. So plenty of live action for you across the Premier League throughout next weekend, having started in real style this weekend with 4 live commentaries from the Championship. Here's Burns on that far side as Ipswich Town look to impose themselves on the 4th of our live games. Here is Cameron Burgess inside his own half for Ipswich. Over halfway. Little layoff that time to the feet of Broadhead. And now down this left-hand side, Davis helps it on to Broadhead again, who's towards the edge of the penalty area. Back to Davis once more. Good into Chaplin at the edge of the penalty area. Tries to help it on its way to the advancing Luongo. And the Australian is putting pressure on Ballard by the corner flag, but Ballard does brilliantly to get out of trouble. Tries to get it away and get the ball away to Neil in midfield, but it's gathered up again by Ipswich Town, who've got Sunderland hemmed in at this moment in time. Wolfenden to the right, into the sunshine, where he finds Donasian. On the far touchline, again is Burns. Burns with a 1-2 between him and Chaplin. Here's Burns now. This cross is better towards Broadhead. Takes a touch. Lovely back heel. Chaplin with a shot. Oh, he's pulled it wide on his left foot. Took a deflection, though, according to the referee. And it's going to be a corner on the far side for Ipswich Town. But that was inches away.
Superb play. No doubt about it. Best play from Ipswich in this game so far. Absolutely fantastic. They worked it really well. They got themselves into a really advanced position. Lovely couple of little give and goes on that right hand side. And when they just pulled that ball back towards the edge of the area, I mean, it was a Chaplin, I think, with a left foot eventually with the strike, with his hands on his head. That was a brilliant opportunity. Just missed that left hand post.
Davis takes it short, Donasian out to Morsey. Morsey then lifts it into the penalty area towards the edge of the 6-yard box, comfortably headed away. Didn't take the opportunity to put this Sunderland defence under pressure. And Ekwa has got 2 round him, but does well to get it out. And that's a lovely little touch off by Bellingham. He managed to help it on its way. And now down that left-hand side, Clark's on the attack. He's got Roberts going forward with him, cutting in towards the edge of the penalty area. And there's fouled rather cynically, and that's going to be a yellow card as well. And it's going the way of Wes Burns. And having set the tone already, Sam Barrett, about those kind of cynical challenges, it's no surprise he brandishes a card.
Thing is with that, Adam, is I mean, you've got to be consistent. I mean, yes, it's a foul from Wes Burns, but does that merit a yellow card? But I think if the way that Sam Barrett is going to referee this game, he's got to be consistent the way through it. He gave the one to Trey Hume, which I do think was a yellow card, but this time, sometimes a foul is not a yellow card. It was very soft, but the problem is now for Wes Burns, he's on a yellow card for the rest of the game.
He is, and Sunderland have a free kick. I mean, it's about probably 40 yards out from goal, but Roberts lifts it in. Ballard wins the header across the penalty area. Burns on the far side is going out to close Jack Clark down. Clark's going to tease him a little bit here, you feel, but he has got support. Right-footed ball swung towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Chance to poke it home. Oh, a melee at the edge of the 6-yard area. And in the end, it's cleared away as far as the centre circle, where Dan Neal is there. There were 2 red and white striped shirts looking to poke that home. Clark again down that left-hand side towards the byline, and it's out of play for what will be a goal kick to Ipswich Town.
And what an opportunity, just waiting for the ball to ricochet to one of 3 Sunderland players that found themselves around the 6-yard area. And again, you're just waiting for that little bit of good fortune, but you have to say eventually it was good defended by Ipswich Town, and then that 1v1 situation, this time with Jack Clark and Janwar Donatian over on that right-hand side, super defending from the full-back, just shielded the player out, shielded the ball out, took the pressure off his side.
Long clearance that time from Gladkey, and it's safely with Patterson away to our left-hand side, all in yellow in the Sunderland goal. Good feet from him. He was under a bit of pressure there from George Hurst. It's a thoroughly enjoyable game of championship football, this one, end-to-end stuff for both of these sides, but you feel the clear-cut chances have probably just about been edged by Ipswich Town so far. And they've got a throw on the far side. Manchester City are now leading. Cole Palmer, the goal scorer for City in the Community Shield against Arsenal at Wembley. That game live right now over on talksport. So if you are listening on the app and you want to swipe across to hear how the champions are getting on against the team that finished second, well, the treble winners, should I say, against the team that finished second, you can do that via the app. And they'll be heading into the last 10-15 minutes or so at Wembley Stadium. And don't forget the phone-in coming after from 6:30 with Jermaine Pennant and Jamie O'Hara. Whatever your team, whoever they've played this weekend, maybe they've not played, maybe they've played a friendly and you're furious with what's going on at your club, then get your calls in over on talksport from 6:30 tonight. Throw in on the far side for Ipswich Town. Donatian has it. He's midway inside the Sunderland half. It's a short one that he takes to Chaplin, and it's volleyed clear by Sirkin, only as far as halfway, where it's picked up by Cameron Burgess, who's certainly grown into the game as well, alongside Wolfenden at the heart of that Ipswich defence, which has yet to be breached in the opening 38 minutes here at the Stadium of Light. It's Wolfenden taking his time in possession, Donatian down that far side, Chaplin's there, Burns has this time cut inside, and Chaplin and Burns happy to interchange with who goes in that wide role on the right-hand side and who tucks themselves in. And now it's Chaplin with some room, then slips the ball in. Burns is on the chase here. Patterson will come out and he'll gather it probably about 3 or 4 yards beyond the left edge of his 6-yard box. Yeah, it was a lovely move again, wasn't it? This time Burns was the one trying to run in behind. I see that the offside flag did go up. You can see Ipswich's back line now, and from the beginning of the game they're starting to play higher up the field. They're now getting a little bit more confident and comfortable on the ball. They're playing some nice football and things are starting to happen for them. Ipswich at this moment in time just trying to hem Sunderland back, but you're not going to hem back Ekwa, who does brilliantly. Nice layoff from Neil, and then Bellingham out well to Clark on the left-hand side. He's got some room to run into here. Not much support inside the box. It's arriving now, though, as he tries to deliver the cross. And in the end, it's a challenge from Morsey on that far side, and it goes behind and out of play for what will be a corner to Sunderland to get on that far side. And they've had a few. Delivery's not been the best, and it's like Jack Clark is back on them this time. One thing that has been disappointing from, I suppose, both sides, if you like, the set pieces, where everybody talks about them in the Championship and how important they are. The quality hasn't been there as of yet. Look, maybe a little bit too overcritical first game of the season, but it counts. Here's Clark swinging that one in. Wolfenden with a very clear header away. In fact, he's got some distance on that. Purchase-wise, it's up towards halfway, where Neil will pick it up again. Infield to Pierre Ekwa, and the 21-year-old Frenchman will just look to build play again for Sunderland down that left-hand side. Good charge into space that time by Sirkin on the far touchline, who wins a throw on that right-hand side. So the left-hand side for Sunderland. It's Ipswich's right, of course. And it's back with Clark. Infield to Ekwa, who forced a good save earlier. Here's Bellingham. Bellingham out wide to that left-hand side. Sirkin looks to enter the box first time with a swinging ball, but once more it's blocked out by Donatian. And actually the back line of Ipswich has settled down a little bit, haven't they? Particularly the two fullbacks. No, absolutely. Just about to say, Adam, I think Donatian in that right back position, he's been tested on a couple of occasions and he's stood the test of time. He's been absolutely superb in a 1v1 situation on a couple of times with Sirkin and certainly Jack Clark. Here is Clark down that left hand side, and it's a free kick that's gone the way of Ipswich Town, much to the fury of the supporters. Sam Barrett put his whistle to his lips and immediately he thought, well, hello, surely not. And no, it wasn't. It's gone the other way. Well, unfortunately,
Adam, we haven't got a screen in front of us where we can see a quick replay, but I just wonder, Jack Clark's got himself into a really good position there, and Donatian's trying to get himself back goal side. Yes, there's a coming together, and everybody would say, well, it's just about body strength. But the player goes to ground. I think you could hear the moans and the groans from the Sunderland supporters. Look, I'm not saying it was a penalty, but certainly you asked the question to the referee. I mean, he was quick on the whistle, wasn't he, to blow for a free kick against Sunderland. But it was a really good move again.
But also, if you're in that position and you're Clark, you're in a good place to cross. Why
go to ground? Absolutely, yeah.
Unless there was certainly an element of force involved. Throwing on that far side for Ipswich Town, 10 yards short of halfway. And it's Donatian who was involved in that last piece of action with Jack Clark, and it's had a play for another throw on the far side for Donatian once more. Just coming up towards halfway. Long throw towards the edge of the penalty area. Headed clear partially for Sunderland. Chance maybe for Broadhead towards the edge of the box. Chaplin's there as well. Good strength. He saw Ekwa sliding, challenging with Bellingham as well. And in fact, he's given away possession here to Bellingham, who's got it inside the centre circle. Lovely quick feet. Nice flick from Roberts. Finds Neil. Emir in the penalty area, just over his head. Headed down by Donatian, and out of play for what will be a corner again to Sunderland on that left-hand side.
It was like there was 6 or 7 players, wasn't there, all surrounding each other in that centre circle. It was who was going to come out with it, was going to create an opportunity. And it was Sunderland again with Joey Bellingham. Again, super feet, just the outside of his right foot. Plays it round the Ipswich midfield players. And then Sunderland on the counter-attack yet again. This time Donatian, I've just built him up, saying he's had a superb couple of minutes. Super defending, but headed back to his goalkeeper. He just got completely wrong.
Final couple of minutes of the first half. Well, we assume it will be, of course, as that ball swung across, this time by Roberts and headed away by Burgess at the edge of the 6-yard box. Back as far as Neil. Neil will look to push them forward again on the far side, circling right-footed ball. Swung across into the penalty area. Breaks towards the edge of the box, but Burns is there to get it away for Ipswich Town. And he lifts it forward with that left foot of his, but safely seen away by Neil, away to our left-hand side. Monday morning, of course, from 10 o'clock, Jim White will be back alongside Alex Crook and Martin Keown tomorrow, and they'll be reacting to that big boxing news that came out, of course, the Joshua Dillian White fight, the rematch being cancelled due to some adverse findings in a drug test. If you missed the show, you can catch up, of course, by listening to the Outspoken podcast or listen to the talksport app. That's live tomorrow from 10 o'clock, and I know Eddie Hearn was due to be on the show this week. Be interesting to see what Eddie's got to say, but certainly reacted quickly to the news of the issues around the drug test. So the Joshua Dillian White fight, which we had live for you on talksport next weekend, it is off. We'll have more on that tomorrow morning with Jim White from 10 o'clock. Just over a minute to go at the Stadium of Light. Bathed in beautiful August sunshine. I'd almost forgot what sunshine was like throughout August so far. It's been that wretched. Not quite the weather you expect on the opening weekend of the football season. Usually it's all balmy and short sleeves. Mickey's here in his big coat up on the northeast coast.
See, a wise man. When I come back up north, I know exactly what to bring up. It might be sunny on the football pitch, but where we do our commentary box from, we're at the top of the stand. It's freezing cold, but hey, football's back. Who cares? It can be absolutely freezing cold. I'm loving it.
We're at the top of a mountain here. I think it felt like that walking up it. Anyway, Ekra inside the centre circle. I need to get my pre-season in next time. I think Neil out wide to this right-hand side where he finds Patrick Roberts. Roberts towards the angle of the penalty area. Tried to play it through first time. It was intercepted. Comes out to Ekwa again. About 30 yards from goal for Sunderland. As red and white stripes tees forward. Oh, great feet from Broadhead to steal it away. Can he break? He's got Hurst out wide to his left-hand side. Not the best of balls, but Hurst will break. And Broadhead's gone inside the penalty area. Has on his right foot. He's got Leif Davis going outside him. Hurst thinks of the shot. Gives it to Morsey. He'll find Burns. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Angle of the box. Looking to take Sirkin on his left foot. We've got 2 minutes of added time, and the cross is headed away and out for a throw on the far side for Ipswich Town.
A break that come for Ipswich because Sunderland are just overplaying at times. Patrick Roberts has been caught on the ball on a couple of occasions. This time Broadhead picks up the ball. He plays the ball out to Hurst, but Hurst then has to run it down into the left flank where you want your striker playing through the middle. Broadhead could have just kept running and running with that ball until he was closed down and then created the space better for George Hurst. And I think overall in the first half, that's maybe been Ipswich's problem.
Big throw from Donatian inside the penalty area. Leif Davis on the half volley, deflected it in! And Ipswich Town have their first goal back in the Championship. And the celebrations away to our left-hand side. Maybe a little bit of luck involved. The shot from Leif Davis, and it's taken a deflection and into the bottom corner. And Ipswich Town have the lead at the Stadium of Light. They're back in the Championship. They're back on the score sheet. And they've stunned them with the opening goal of the game, courtesy of Nathan Broadhead. It's Sunderland 0, Ipswich Town 1.
I think from the signs and the lack of the celebration, Adam, we can say it was Nathan Broadhead who's put the ball eventually into the back of the net. But you don't clear your lines, and those ricochets in the 18-yard area in the 6-yard box. Nathan Broadhead just took a chance. He ran towards that 6-yard box. The ball ricochets off him. It just gives Anthony Patterson in that Sunderland goal absolutely no chance. Talked about all the possession and all the opportunity you've had in the first half. It just takes one chance like that. You get the ball, Leif Davis on the left-hand side, takes a chance and breaks forward, gets his shot away. And Broadhead in the right place at the right time gives Sunderland absolutely no chance and find themselves behind.
Yeah, Patterson had the shot covered, didn't he? But he was absolutely stranded with a deflection off of Nathan Broadhead. Of course, he won't celebrate in front of his former club, just calmed everyone down. In added time at the end of the first half, Ipswich Town have got themselves in front here at the Stadium of Light. And, well, it's been a very even game. Probably they have had the better of the clear-cut opportunities, and finally they've taken one that probably wasn't that clear-cut. Sunderland try and work their way into the Ipswich Town penalty area, but had a play on that far side for a throw-in. We're already 2.5 minutes into the 2 minutes of added time, so as we know, actual time spent celebrating goals is what's going to be added on at the end of these games. And starting in the Championship and the EFL now, of course, the clock is still running through, so fans can see exactly how many minutes have been added on, as opposed to them stopping at 45, as they do in the Premier League, and they did around the EFL last season. Here's Neil, Emir just tries to play him in, but he's been largely anonymous, the young Portuguese striker, in this first half, and again the ball just bypasses him, and Ipswich will get it clear, and it will be a throw for Sunderland midway inside their own half. Real urgency about their game right now, and it's going to be a throw down this right hand side from Trey Hugh. Sunderland trailing here. The Ipswich supporters, who are high up in the stand away to our left hand side, kind of level with us. Can only see a small portion of them, in fact, right by the corner, but boy are they making a noise and celebrating as here come Ipswich Town again, so no surprise. Hurst, great tackle from Bellingham, couple of yards outside the penalty area, and it was needed because Hurst was either about to feed Burns or unload himself from the edge of the penalty area. Oh, they've given it away again here into the middle of the park. It's Luongo just outside the centre circle. Morsey coming forward for Ipswich Town. I'm sure they'll be happy to get it at half-time, leading by a goal to nil, but at this moment they're searching for a second. And as we've played 4 added minutes at the end of the first half, our referee Sam Barrett blows the whistle, and in added time at the end of that first period, Ipswich Town are back on the score sheet in the Championship. Nathan Broadhead, the goal scorer. Both teams are back out. We're ready to go. Long discussion between Wes Burns and Kieran McKenna on the touchline down on this right-hand side. Our referee Sam Barrett is ready to go. We just heard Republica telling us we're ready to go on the Tannoy here at the Stadium of Light. And it is going to be Sunderland to get us underway at the start of the second half, kicking from right to left in the second 45 minutes. And Mickey Gray is going to tell us what Tony Mowbray's just said at half-time.
Well, more of the same. I think just be a little bit more disciplined from a Sunderland perspective and just cut out the mistakes, because that's the only opportunities that Ipswich are creating for themselves. Because you look at the flair and the quality that's been on show, possession-wise, it's certainly been the home side, but better opportunities have come from Ipswich in the away team because of the quality that they've showed in front of goal, and that's why they find themselves a goal up at half-time coming in this second 45 minutes.
I'll run you through the two teams the moment the ball goes out of play, and we get a moment here. It was an end-to-end first half, some lovely football on show, and as Mickey says, Ipswich taking one of their opportunities courtesy of Nathan Broadhead just on the stroke of half-time in added time. Down this right-hand side, it's Ipswich Town who have possession. Donasian put the ball out of play a long way out, and it seemed to take an age for the assistant to put his flag up and to be noticed by Sam Barrett, and it will be a throw on this near touchline for Sunderland as they attack down this left-hand side. It's midway inside the Ipswich Town half, and it's going to be Dennis Serkin who will take the throw. 28 appearances for him last season, 5 goals as well, but he was a real miss in that playoff semi-final. Missed both of those games with an ankle injury, didn't he?
Yeah, it was really frustrating. I mean, the away game at Luton, no fit centre-halves really, going in with a goal advantage as well. It was always going to be a tough place, wasn't it, Adam? I think everybody knew that, and Rob from Luton manager, he got the job done, didn't he? Which was obviously unfortunate from a Sunderland perspective.
He did. Roberts on that far side for Sunderland, lifting a ball towards Bellingham inside the edge of the penalty area, but it's easily headed away by Burgess, and now will be brought forward down that left-hand touchline by Chaplin, but Chaplin's just beaten to it this time by Trey Hugh, and it will be gathered up quite comfortably at the back by Ballard, and Sunderland will just go all the way back to Patterson and out to this left-hand side where Luke O'Nien is waiting for it, the 28-year-old Englishman, signed from Wycombe back in 2018. 26 times last season he was a centre-back, and he's off and running in that position again today. He's got the ability to play anywhere on that back line really, and also in midfield, but today anchoring this Sunderland side at the centre of the defence. He finds Bellingham on this left-hand touchline. Clever little pass infield from Bellingham. It's picked up nicely by Ekwa, who brings Ballard into it, and now there's space on that right-hand side as Hume looks to cut inside. Back into Ekwa, 35 yards from goal, on his left foot. Lovely little flick through inside the penalty area. Emir, lovely turn, chance to shoot. Oh, he put it onto his left foot, and then he didn't pull the trigger, and Wolfenden can get it away, and then the foul from Emir at the edge of the penalty area on that far side. What an opportunity for the young Portuguese striker.
Excellent play. Lovely play again from Ekwa in that midfield position, getting himself again on that half-turn, plays a lovely little ball into Hemir, finds himself 7 or 8 yards out. He does the hard part, looks like he's going to take the strike on. He does that chop that you see a lot of players do now, worked it onto his left foot, and then he kind of lost his balance a little bit as if he was moving away from the ball, and Wolfenden stood his ground nice and solid as a centre-half, waited for that chance to win the ball. Absolutely superb defending from him, but that's the reaction that you want from the home side.
Teed himself up beautifully, didn't he?
He did.
Just couldn't get that shot away. Here's the goal scorer Broadhead, slipping it forward. Chaplin, 10 yards outside the penalty area, right-hand side, gives it on this near touchline to Burns. Burns to Chaplin again, tries to play the 1-2, but Burns just couldn't escape the attention that time of Sirkin. And it's had a play for a goal kick to Patterson away to our right-hand side. So Sunderland have Patterson in goal. It's Hume, Ballard, O'Nien and Sirkin across the back. It's Neal and Ekwa holding in midfield. Then Bellingham, Roberts and Clark providing the support to Lewis Emir, who leads the line for Sunderland. As for Ipswich Town, Hladky's in goal. Donatian, Wolfenden, Burgess and Davis across the back. It's Luongo and Morsey in midfield, with Chaplin, Burns and Broadhead supporting George Hurst, who leads the line. And here's Chaplin in the bright green boots down this right-hand side, laying the ball off to Burns. Burns with his little bun. Oh, lovely little pass from Chaplin. Donation with a chance to cross, which he does, and it has to be dealt with by Ballard from the edge of that 6-yard box, and he does brilliantly, but he sets Clark away too, down this left-hand side. Clark looking for the early pass, but it took a deflection that time off Morsey, and then he's cleared by Hladky down this right-hand side for Ipswich Town. End-to-end stuff. Burns skips past the first challenge, just dives in between two players, gets it forward towards Hurst, who I thought may have been offside, but there was no flag as he got a touch, and Sunderland will clear from the edge of their own penalty area.
Yeah, very good play again, wasn't it, down this right-hand side? You can see the confidence starting to flow through these Ipswich veins. Now, certainly in more advanced positions, and it's Sunderland now who are the ones who are making the mistakes.
Yeah, it's the first real mistake Bellingham's made all game, but it was a stray pass that was well intercepted that time by Davis for Ipswich Town, but they immediately gave possession back to Sunderland. 5 minutes into the second half on talksport 2, where it remains Sunderland 0, Ipswich Town 1. The goal coming in stoppage time at the end of the first half. Nathan Broadhead the scorer. Here comes Sunderland down the left-hand side. Clark, Sirkin on the overlap, looks to get the cross, stands it up towards the back post, and the header in the end was from Dan Neal over the crossbar. I'm surprised he got there first. It looked like it was going to be an easy one potentially for Morsey to try and clear, but in the end, oh sorry, not Morsey should I say, it was Davis. But Neal got up with a header but just couldn't get it goalwards.
Yeah, I just wonder if there was any belief in Dan Neal as he headed that ball there. Had a wonderful play again from Sunderland down this left-hand side. They worked it well. the overlap and run from Sirkin now, dinks the little ball to the back stick, but Dan Neil, as he got himself into the box, did he really want to get his head on that and get the better of his marker there? I'm not quite sure about it. You've got to be more determined if you're going to get yourself into that 18-yard box to know in your own brain, I want to score a goal here.
It's their highest finish since Premier League relegation last season. That was, of course, back in 2017 for Sunderland. Youngest championship team, I think it was at average age about 24 last year, so they're all matured, they're all a year older and wiser, but at the same time we just then see the blooding of a couple of other youngsters in a 17-year-old in Joe Bellingham and a 19-year-old in Lewis Emir, as Chaplin does well on halfway for Ipswich Town to gather the ball up in those blue and white shirts that have been missing from the championship for 4 seasons. They've played the advantage here. Lovely ball slipped in the box. Hurst makes it 2-0. Great finish from Hurst. And Ipswich Town have doubled their advantage at the Stadium of Light. And it's George Hurst who's added to the goal tally. Wonderful refereeing, played the advantage. And Hurst, first time strike, high into the roof of the net. It's an excellent finish. It's a brilliant goal for Ipswich Town, who are making their mark on this championship. Sunderland 0, Ipswich Town 2.
Well, there's the difference. You have a striker in your starting 11 who knows where the back of the net is. You give him one chance, he puts the ball in the back of the net. Excellent play, as you mentioned, brilliant from the referee. Just let the play continue, and they played it really well. Hurst just dropped off the centre half shoulder, worked the ball onto his right foot, didn't really have to do anything, just let the ball roll across his shoulders, and then he fires it into the roof of the net and gives Anthony Patterson absolutely no chance in that Sunderland goal. Look, they're disciplined, Ipswich. They wait for their chance, they win the ball up high. As I said, Sunderland are giving the ball away. They've been really scrappy in his second 45 minutes, but superb play from the away team. Absolutely brilliant finish from George Hurst.
8 minutes into this second half, and Ipswich Town in complete control of this game at the Stadium of Light. 42nd championship appearance today for George Hurst. First time he's found the back of the net, and what an emphatic way to do it was. Oh, Chaplin's tried to chip Patterson from halfway. Oh, he's hit the crossbar. Now it comes down to Hurst again, who goes down in the box, and the driven response, this time from Broadhead, is blocked, and then Patterson saves it at the edge of the 6-yard box. Absolutely extraordinary. Chaplin's chip from near halfway, Cannon's back off the crossbar, and then Patterson, having been beaten by Chaplin's shot, managed to save the day with the help of the defender.
Well, it's nearly absolutely... you're talking about goal of the season if it finds the way into the back of the net from Chaplin.
Well, it's Clark to Neil at the edge of the penalty area. What a wonderful challenge from Morse. He didn't deny him as he was about to pull the trigger that time. Dan Neil, terrific challenge from the Ipswich Town captain, and there's a foul that time from Hurst on Ballard on the far side. This game has exploded into life. 9.5 minutes gone in the second half, and Ipswich lead 2-0.
Well, we go back to that opportunity, Adam. I mean, it's superb, isn't it, from Connor Chaplin to have the instinct as that ball drops to you from 45, 50 yards out, to see that Anthony Patterson's off his line just to try and lob the ball over the top, and he's so unfortunate that the ball ricochets off the crossbar. But it's all down to Sunderland showing nerves now, and maybe a lack of experience. They're giving the ball away, they don't know what to do, and we talked about this last season.
Well, Hume into Emir, and in the end I think it got a touch. The offside flag was up anyway, so it would be a free kick. I think it may have been a little touch back to the goalkeeper that time, but Danasian, but it's offside anyway, so it'll be a free kick.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're looking at your forward player there, aren't you? You're looking at Emir trying to get in between two centre-halves. It's a decent enough ball into the area, but again, I'm seeing Sunderland when they're in that final third. Seeing a yellow card here as we carry on. Goalkeeper trying to waste a little bit of time there. Gladkey in the Ipswich goal, but they can do what they want. They're 2-0 up. They can afford to pick up a couple of yellow cards just to slow the game down, take the flow out of it.
10 minutes into the second half, and the keeper is already yellow carded for time wasting. Welcome to the new world of the EFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
Arsenal have won the Community Shield. They've beaten Manchester City in a penalty shootout at Wembley Stadium. I know Arsenal fans, it's a trophy. I mean, what more could you want?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way to start the season. I think everybody talks about the Community Shield at times, is saying it's not a major trophy, but just look at who they're playing against, the treble winners. That's a massive win for them.
Well, it's going to be an interesting season for Manchester City, of course. They've got the Super Cup and stuff coming up in the World Club Championship as well. But more about Ipswich Town right now. Lovely ball across towards Hurst in the edge of the penalty area. Davis cuts it back. Broadhead at the edge of the penalty area and a right-footed shot, and Patterson makes the save away to his left-hand side. And when they want to counter now, Ipswich Town are doing it with purpose, and they're cutting Sunderland open.
There's so many opportunities, so many spaces for the Ipswich players now to break forward. You can see Sunderland, they're going to have to take risks. You're going to try and get yourself back into the game. You've got to show a lot better quality than what they have done in this second 45 minutes. Yes, they've had a lot of possession. They've got themselves into good areas. They've had half chances. But as we said in the first half, Adam, Ipswich have had the better chances. This is why they've doubled the lead in the second 45 minutes with a super finish from George Hurst.
Mickey, do you think back to the start of this game and those nervous Ipswich Town players, and you look at them now, the confidence is absolutely flowing through their veins here as Bellingham tries to work his way through, but he's not going to get that time beyond the challenge that was coming from Morsey, and Bellingham with a shove, and he's going to get booked for that as well. Oh, no, it's going to be... Oh no, the yellow card's actually being shown to Kieran McKenna, who I think was fairly furious about the fact that his goalkeeper got booked, but McKenna has got his first yellow card of the championship season as well.
Well, we're seeing everything, aren't we? I think, referees are obviously playing it by the book. As I said, they're going to put their hand in the pocket and pick that yellow card out whenever they see an opportunity to do so. Kieran McKenna just a little bit frustrated, and as I'm speaking, Adam, and this was on the cards. Sunderland are making a couple of changes. I can see Pritchard down there. Certainly one of the players. I think the other one might be Abdullah Bar, I think it is, who's coming onto the field.
It is. Lewis Amir is departed. Abdullah Bar has come on, and Joe Bellingham is going to be replaced by Alex Pritchard.
Yeah, changes. You can see Bellingham was maybe running out a little bit of steam. Look, he's still a young man. We give him all the plaudits in that first 45 minutes. He was absolutely outstanding, but the game's maybe caught up with him a little bit now. A little bit of an experience. So you bring on Pritchard, who certainly knows this division. He's a wonderful player. He's clever with the ball at his feet, but they need to come up with answers, Sunderland. If they're going to get anything out of this game, they've got to try and claw their way back into it.
So we expect Jack Clark probably to go up top now, Mickey, would you?
Well, Pritchard will probably go in behind, yes, and you can see Jack Clark has now gone into a more advanced position and Barr's in that holding midfield role. So yeah, it's a little bit of a change in system. But it's Ipswich, they've got to get the ball off them at the moment. They've been outstanding the last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, good combination there with Morsey and Chaplin, just trying to find their way through again to Hurst. But here's Barr's first chance to shine down this left-hand touchline. Infield he goes to Ekwa. Barr, of course, another of the youngsters, 20 years of age, the Frenchman. But, he played a lot last season, 27 appearances in the Championship. Only goal, though, came against Norwich, but he's going to play wide on the left-hand side here for Sunderland in these changes from Tony Mowbray. 14 minutes gone in the second half on talksport 2, your home of the EFL, where it's Sunderland 0, Ipswich Town 2. Here's Barr, cutting in field, just on his right foot, just teases and tries to get the better of Donatian. The pass just evades the outstretched boot of Chaplin and is picked up by Dan Neal. Edge of the centre circle, it's Ballard. Down the right-hand touchline again to Trey Hume. Hume is heading towards the edge of the penalty area, but he just lays off that time to Roberts. Pritchard gets his first touch and looks busy already down that far side as Hume tries to find him with a little bit of help from Roberts, but in the end goes out of play. Throw taken quickly. Here's Roberts advancing towards the edge of the penalty area on his left foot into the feet of Pritchard, who then just lifts it over the top of Hume on that far touchline and out of play for a throw down that left-hand side to Ipswich Town. We've reached the hour mark here at the Stadium of Light on talksport 2, and Sunderland trail 2-0.
The difference in the Sunderland crowd now, Adam, as well in front of us is the little risks that players were taking in the first half when the game is at 0-0. If it doesn't come off, you get away with that. They're making another mistake here.
They are. Chaplin driving forward, does really well. Have a little layoff to Broadhead. Hurst inside the penalty area. Here's Burns down the right-hand side. Drills it across, takes a deflection. That's going to be a corner on the far side to Ipswich Town.
He's had so much space, Wes Burns, in his second 45 minutes over on this right-hand side. Whether it's Sirkin, who's trying to close him down, he's not getting there quick enough, or he wasn't getting the help from Jack Clark. But there's so many outlet balls for the away side now because they're playing some nice intricate football. They're playing and they're pressing higher up the field. They're winning the ball from the mistakes from the Sunderland players. And as I said, they've got their just rewards with the second goal, and they're the side who look like they're going to get the third.
Davis is going to deliver the corner from the far side with his left foot for Ipswich Town. Over the top of everybody, really. It has comfortably only clear by Ballard. as the seagulls are flying in. It's just the attacking the half-time chips that are still being consumed. There's a swarm of them arriving, a flock of seagulls, in fact, you would say. There's going to be another yellow card here, and it's Pritchard who's been fouled, and it's, I think, Morsey who's going into the book.
Yeah, silly, cynical foul there. I think it was Morsey in that midfield area. Pritchard just came in and nicked the ball away from him, but somebody out there in a red and white shirt has got to give this side a bit of a spark, because in front of goal they've been really lacklustre. Some nice football up until they get to that final third. But if you don't score goals, you're never going to win football matches, and I think Tony Mowbray knows that's why he's trying to get Ross Stewart back as quick as he possibly can to start putting the ball in the back of the net for the Wearsiders. But Ipswich have been outstanding.
That's good from Barr, edge of the penalty area down that left-hand side. Lays the ball back across. Neil tries to get there first, but is beaten to it on this occasion by Luongo. Luongo on the charge through the centre circle, still going. Daniel is back at him, but in the end, Ekwa has to intervene to win it back for Sunderland, and he does well. Roberts now down that right-hand side, looking to take on Leif Davis. Goes wide, far touchline, then tries to cut across, but Davis does enough. He doesn't make a clear challenge, but he's just on his case, holds him out there, and then just blocks his pathway to the box.
Well, Leif Davis is very clever. He knows that Roberts can go either left or right hand side, so what he does, he just slows him up. He waits for the help from either his centre half or a midfield player in front of him. Luongo track him back, and they make that 2v1 situation and make it hard to get past him.
Great play by Clark, but he's just run into Burns, who does well defensively, and they're very well organised here at this moment in time. Ipswich Town, Ekwa with a great challenge to stop Chaplin, and that's what's needed from Sunderland if they're going to force their way back into this game. They trail by 2-0. 17 minutes gone in this second half. Barr just loses possession, and that's going to ricochet inside the Ipswich Town penalty area. Wolfenden will clear, only as far as halfway. Ballard is there. Ballard forward again to Ekwa, over halfway. The young Frenchman just tiptoeing forward in towards Clark. It looks like he was caught as he tried to win that ball, but the referee says play on. Luongo then finds Hurst, who gives possession away. Poor pass. Hume does brilliantly. Now Roberts on the charge towards the edge of the penalty area, running at the ball on his left foot. Rises it through to Pritchard, who would have been offside. He doesn't go for the ball. The assistant keeps his flag down, and in the end, Ludke can collect the ball for Ipswich Town. I just wonder where the awareness is in Patrick Roberts' head there. He's done absolutely brilliant working in from the right-hand side. He gets it onto his stronger left foot. Adam, it's 21, 22 yards out. Would you not, as a player, think, I'm going to take a strike on here? There's nobody closing me down. He's tried to play that reverse pass into Alex Pritchard, who knows he's in an offside position. It's the harder ball. Take the strike on. Here's Barr trying to take the ball under control, 5 or 6 yards outside the penalty area. Doesn't quite do it, but he does manage to keep possession for Sunderland by finding Dan Neal. Hume's looking for a quick 1-2 and has advanced, but instead Neal goes to the left-hand side. Sirkin's there trying to win it. Chaplin now is going to try and take on Ekwa on halfway, but Ekwa can safely see it back to 09. 09 over halfway. Infield once more to Neal. 09 again looks for support on this left-hand side. Neal can play it wide to Sirkin. He's got Pritchard ahead of him. Looks for Pritchard. And in a clash of the blondes, it's Wolfenden who clears the ball out. And I think he's managed to absolutely flatten Burns there with his clearance. Smack in the face, and Burns goes down and may well need some treatment. Almost 20 minutes gone in this second half. Ipswich leading by 2-0. And remember, all of the EFL action, and what a weekend it's been, will be round up tomorrow night here on talksport 2, 7 o'clock. EFL All Access, Hugh Wozencroft, Sam Parkin, and of course it'll be available as a podcast as well, so you can enjoy it in your own time whenever you feel like it. It looks like we're having an energy break down below as both teams gather, maybe for some final instructions from Tony Mowbray and Kieran McKenna as we enter the final 25 minutes of the game. Well, certainly Tony Mowbray, Adam. I mean, it's a rest period that Sunderland probably needed, because I think Tony needs to readdress a couple of situations that you can see happening on the field. I mean, Jack Clark, whether it's fortunate or unfortunate for him, now finds himself as the most advanced player in the Sunderland starting 11. But he keeps coming deep. He wants to get involved in the game. He wants to get ball in the centre circle, get himself turned and start running at defenders rather than playing on shoulders and getting in behind. And this is the problem you've got. When you haven't got fit centre forwards, you're scratching your head, you're looking around at your squad, you're wondering, right, who can I actually put on who's going to make a difference in this game? Because when you find yourself 2-0 down, and Kieran McKenna, we talked about him, he's been really clever.
look how organised this side have been. They get themselves back into positions, they know their jobs, and they just wait for a mistake from Sunderland, and that's where their goals have come from.
Well, you consider they took 44 points from their 23 away games last season. They were pretty darn good on the road. They didn't lose in their last 9 as well, so it's a perfectly good start to their championship campaign. Away from home, at the Stadium of Light, one of the most difficult places to come in the division. And as things stand, with 23 and a half minutes remaining here, they're on the way to 3 points and a clean sheet as things stand. They lead 2-0. But Sunderland are on the attack. Roberts and Pritchard combining on that far touchline by the corner flag. Pritchard pulls it back across the penalty area, but Morsey feels like he's absolutely everywhere, time and time again in that midfield. And now he's found the ball to Luongo, and then Luongo to Chaplin, and Chaplin to Hurst, and Chaplin's continued his run. Hurst on the far side is blocked off by Ballard, and it'll be a throw to Ipswich on that far side.
But they're getting so much space now, Ipswich. Connor Chaplin, he's got acres of space in the opposition's half. He's able to get on the half turn. He plays that ball out to George Hurst there, who really doesn't have anything in his brain where he needs to go. He's got his head up, he's having a look for players which are not there. But again, this is all boils down to Sunderland finding themselves 2 goals down, having to take risks, try and get themselves back into this football match.
It's Burns, infield, short to once more Chaplin, who's involved in everything. I mean, you said you were looking forward to see him. He's certainly come to the party in the last 60 minutes of this game or so, after a quiet start. Inside the penalty area, trying to drive his way forward again with the free kick's been given. Well, looked like a fair challenge coming in from Dan Neal. 5 yards outside the penalty area. It was the driving run from Davis, and the free kick goes Ipswich Town's way, and this is an opportunity and a half, this, to the left of the D, about 22 yards from goal.
Well, because we're so far away, Adam, we're guessing it whether the referee Sam Barrett has got this decision right. I think it was Patrick Roberts who eventually made the foul on Leif Davis, but Leif Davis has stayed on the ground knowing that he thought it was a foul for his side, and this is another brilliant opportunity for Ipswich Town. 22 yards out. You can see that line of Sunderland, not the tallest wall that you're going to see throughout the championship season. And again, when you're 2 goals up, full of confidence, you're going to take this strike on, and it's all down to Anthony Patterson if they do get this ball over the top of that wall. Well,
Chaplin has walked away. Davis, it would suit his left foot maybe, but you'd feel the right foot of Nathan Broadhead's the better option from that angle. Right-footed, he lifts it over the top of the bar, and it's going to be a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Never troubling Anthony Patterson at all in the Sunderland goal away to our right-hand side. There's a little roar from the Sunderland faithful, who have been a little quieter in this second half, particularly since that second Ipswich goal went in from George Hurst. Down this left-hand touchline, Sunderland, 09, under pressure from Hurst, who certainly does his best work in and around the penalty area. I think when you give him too much time to think, he can sometimes not really be clear in his actions. Yeah, you're completely right. He's a defender first and foremost. I think he's obviously been told as a centre-half today, look, well, he's now playing left-back, so he's playing all over the place, but you win the ball back and give it to somebody in front of you who's got better feet than you. But I just want to see a little bit of urgency from the home side. It's all Ipswich Town now. I talk about confidence, and it is a big thing in football. Well, they're certainly showing it right now. They've got themselves in such a commanding position. They don't need to take any chances. They're playing away from home. Probably didn't really expect to get a lot from Sunderland today at the Stadium of Light. Would have been happy going away with a point, but 3 would be huge. Lovely chip ball through. Clark is going to chase it, but again Wolfenden's there to just shepherd it out of play very well, and it'll be a goal kick away to our left-hand side for Ipswich Town. 20 minutes remaining here, and it's all gone a bit quiet. I mean, as I say, there's a little bit of a roar coming, but again, it's one of those stadiums that when it's on fire, it's incredibly loud. However, when things aren't quite going, it gets very quiet and eerie. Well, didn't we talk? We talked a bit before the game. Just a little silly foul here. Yeah, we talked before the game, Adam, didn't we, about using them as your 12th man, but giving themselves something to cheer behind. Well, they haven't really had that. A lot of possession, of course, yeah, but when we look and maybe delve into this game a little bit more, and you look at the 1v1 chances, there's no question Ipswich have had the better opportunities. And they have the advantage. They lead by 2-0 here on talksport 2. A reminder, just getting underway over on talksport. If you are listening via the app and you want to swipe across and have your say in any of the action from the weekend's football, Jermaine Pennant and Jamie O'Hara taking your calls on talksport. They're underway right about now, 6:30 over on talksport at the conclusion of that Community Shield game, which Arsenal have won, by the way, on penalties against Manchester City. Ekwa just plays the ball in, but behind Dan Neil, and a chance to counter again down that left-hand side, and the chase is on, and that's going to be a yellow card, I think,
for that red.
Trey Hume, who's already been booked, so it's a red card for Trey Hume. 2 yellows, the challenge on Leif Davis as he broke away. He's been penalised. It was always going to be a yellow card, and it's his second of the game, and Sunderland now will play the last 18 and a half minutes with 10 men.
Well, how silly can you be? Trey Hume, first day of the season, he makes a real rash foul in the first half, deservedly goes in the book and picks up that yellow card, but on this occasion it's just a 1v1 sprint. He gets it completely wrong, he gets outpaced, he pulls the player back, and as soon as he goes to ground, you can see Sam Barrett is across there, the referee. He's got a big decision to make, but it's a decision that he gets right. He picks that red card out, and when you talk about trying to climb a mountain when your 2 goals down, well, it's just being made double. Well, down to 10 men, it's so hard now.
And Nathan Broadhead is being partially booed off, but then there's a round of applause from the Stadium of Light faithful. I mean, he was fairly respectful when he scored in his lack of celebration, and he's being replaced by Marcus Harness. It's a good start to this new championship campaign for Broadhead. That goal in stoppage time at the end of the first half really settled Ipswich Town's nerves and have set them on the way, as things stand, to a wonderful opening weekend, 3 points. And, well, I think Alex Pritchard is holding his arms out at Tony Mowbray saying, OK, well, we're not no fullback, what are we doing? His arms are out, where am I going? What's the plan? We'll see how it pans out. They are down to 10 men. And Ipswich Town will probably try to exploit that by just keeping the ball a little bit more. Morsey finds Wolfenden. Burns is just shifting himself slowly, creeping into space down this right-hand side to threaten that back line of Sunderland. I think at the moment it's Dan Neil who's slotted in at right back, and there's a nasty challenge, and there's a Jack Clark trying to take it quickly. A challenge again on Pritchard, not for the first time in this game. And I think it was the substitute, Harness, who's just come on, mistimed that challenge, but stayed down long enough to take the attention away from him.
Yeah, maybe got the benefit of the doubt a little bit there, Harness. But again, you know, you see Pritchard who's trying to get on the ball again. You know, it's so difficult at him, isn't it, when you're down to 10 men and everybody's obviously trying to work hard for each other, getting themselves behind the ball. It's so hard to make that 60, 70-yard burst and lung burst and run. And you see they've got an opportunity now down this left-hand side.
They have, with Barr cutting towards the edge of the penalty area, but he's got 2 round him immediately, and he's forced to run the ball out of play. Well, I think it looked like it ran out of play. We are a long way away, but a fairly good high vantage point. The assistant on the far side probably wouldn't have had a clue, to be honest. Here's Roberts down that far side for Sunderland. He's 35 yards, 40 yards from goal. Just turning, ball at feet, just running into a cul-de-sac though, nowhere to go. Lays it off to Pritchard. Then it's picked up by Dan Neil on that right-hand side, who's moved into that right-back position. Here's Clark, now wide again to Neil on that far side, by the corner flag. Cuts it back for Roberts. Pritchard's in a good space. What can he do with it? Always a wonder with those feet, Pritchard, as he lifts it inside the penalty area, and arriving to try and win the header from this left-hand side was Sirkin, and it's over the bar and out of play for what will be a goal kick for Ipswich Town, who are ready to make 2 more changes down below, Nicky.
Yeah, just to freshen things up. Very good management from Kieran McKenna there. You can see that Sunderland are obviously going to push players forward, albeit they're down to 10 men, to try and claw their way back into this game if they possibly can, but a couple of fresh legs just coming onto the field.
Amari Hutchinson is one of them, who's on loan from Chelsea. He's a former Arsenal player, of course. At the age of 11, he joined their youth setup. Couple of appearances for Chelsea last season against Manchester City. But he's going to come on here and he's going to replace Connor Chaplin, Amari Hutchinson, Jamaican. And then the other change as well, we'll see George Hurst depart and Freddie Ladapo coming on. So they're bringing quality off the bench. Hutchinson with an opportunity to show what he's got to offer. And Ladapo, as we know, scored 17 goals last season in League One.
Yeah, quality players. We talk about the squad. This League One side, I talked about Kieran McKenna trying to strengthen. I mean, they haven't brought lots of bodies in because he knew that he had a really good side that could compete in the championships, which we're certainly seeing right now in front of us. Again, they're being organised. They've got quality on that bench as well. They're going to cause a lot of sides problems. There's no question of that in the championship.
Ladapo scored 8 goals as a substitute, including his last 5. He is the player who has a good record against Sunderland as well. A couple of goals in his 5 appearances against them so far. He'll be trying to add to that now. Here's Harness towards the edge of the penalty area. Slips it into Davies down that left-hand side. Cuts the ball across the penalty area. And from around the penalty spot, Sirkin will get it clear for Sunderland. Taken down in the middle of the park that time by Luongo. Now on that right-hand side, Roberts is going to try and break. Cuts it over halfway. Still going, Roberts. Good pace. Skips away from the second challenge. Roberts still going. Wolfenden will come across and will put the ball into touch. Well, that's something to get the crowd going. A lung-busting run from Roberts. Wins the throw on the far side. Here's Pritchard for Sunderland. 13 minutes remaining on talksport 2. They trail by 2-0 against Ipswich Town, and they have themselves a free kick, level with a penalty spot, a couple of yards in from the touchline on the far side.
Just a little nudge there on Alec Pritchard. Just prior to that, fantastic run from Patrick Roberts, but you see he was waving his arms towards the referee. Have to be careful, knowing exactly what referees are going to do this season. He got away with it on this occasion, but if you're going to get something from the game, Adam, I think we're probably at that point now, aren't we? 78 minutes into the game, where Sunderland have got to try and find the back of the net. It's going to be so difficult for them, as we mentioned, down to 10 men, but these are the chances that you wait for.
Pritchard will deliver from the right-hand side on his right foot to the edge of the penalty area. Ekwa to the left it goes. Bars there. The home fans aren't happy. Shots driven across the penalty area and wide of the left-hand post. It was Sirkin with it in the end. It's going to be a corner. Did take a slight deflection. But those around us in the stadium are not happy. They wanted that into the danger zone, into the mixer.
I think they did. First time he had a chance to put the ball into the box again, playing a short corner here.
It is. Roberts on the charge again, tries to get the crossover, and it will be another corner. Reluctant to go towards the 6-yard box. Referee's just halting here for a moment because there's a bit of battling going on inside that penalty area. So the attempt to take a very quick corner on the far side by Roberts and Pritchard is not happening because there's going to be a conversation instead between Ladapo and Ballard and our referee Sam Barrett. 11 and a half minutes remaining on talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Our third live championship game of the day across the talksport network. A win for Leicester over Coventry, a draw between Leeds and Cardiff, and here, as things stand, the League One side from last season, Ipswich, are taking all 3 points as they lead by 2-0. But what can Tony Mowbray's Sunderland do about it? His young guns, the young Black Cats who did so well last season to get themselves into the playoffs, into that playoff semi-final. Here's Roberts, left-footed, swinging that towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Appeals for a penalty. But in the end, I think it's one of the Ipswich players that down inside the box, and the referee is just going to stop play, and immediately they're going to get some attention on because he's prone and flat out, it would appear. And there's the waving of a yellow card as well from the referee, I think, for dissent. But they really aren't standing for anything so far this campaign. I think it may be Danasian, the player that's down.
Well, it's just frustration now, isn't it? I think it's Dan Ballard who picked up the yellow card. He thought there was a foul on him from Danasian. But it's just a defender against a defender, and the away defender getting the better of the Sunderland defender, Dan Ballard, because you're in a position where the ball, it was actually a decent ball into the box, but that determination, that desire to clear your lines, come what may, whether I take an elbow to the face or somebody jumps on my back, I'm going to win that ball. You are not going to make an opportunity for your side. And that's basically the story of the game for me, because Ipswich have stood strong at the back whenever they've had problems. Sunderland have not really been able to break them down. Yes, there's a little bit of frustration. You can sense it now in the stadium. They're frustrated because, I said, over 40,000 here today, Adam. They come with expectations of starting the season off with a big win against a side that have just been promoted from League One. It doesn't work that way. You've got to go out, you've got to earn your win. And Ipswich Town have certainly went out today and they've earned these 3 points.
Treatment continues down below. Let's hope it's nothing too serious. 9 minutes plus added time remaining here at the Stadium of Light. A reminder, tomorrow morning on the talksport breakfast show, we've got a great choice of listening for you first thing. From 6 o'clock, Natalie Sawyer is joined by Andy Townsend. All the latest sports news. The Plymouth boss Stephen Schumacher is going to be on the show following their opening day victory over Huddersfield. Plus, of course, they'll be reviewing all the rest of the EFL action and looking ahead to the big kick-off in the Premier League, which is on Friday night over on talksport, one of our exclusive live commentaries next weekend. There are 4 in total we have for you, and it all starts with Burnley against Manchester City on Friday evening. At the same time, of course, about 8:30 tomorrow morning, England against Nigeria in the last 16 of the Women's World Cup. That's an 8:30 kick-off. That game is live on talksport 2. You can hear the boos, and the boos are because Denacian is up and about and is being helped off on this near side. He looks a little worse for wear. No action as things stand on the Ipswich Town bench down below us, so I'm going to assume he's okay to continue. But you would feel there may be the concussion protocols, and one of the physios just picking up something off the pitch as well, so whether anything's been thrown or not, I am not sure. But Bobby Madley, the 4th official for today's game, just checking that Denacian is okay, and we'll await the referee allowing them to come on. But it's going to be a 30-second delay, isn't it, before he's allowed back onto the field of play under the new rules this season in play in the Championship. Here's Barr. Can they take advantage of it being 10 against 10 for the moment, Sunderland, after they had a red card for Hume? Here's Pritchard slipping that inside the box. It's being chased after that time by Dan Neal, but out of play for a goal kick to Ipswich Town away to our left-hand side. Denacian should be allowed back on the field of play, you would feel, any moment now, and he is by the referee Sam Barrett. Not too sure who's doing the timing on that. I'm going to guess it's probably Bobby Madley down below to make sure the 30 seconds has passed and the boos as he re-enters the fray, but he's been quite impressive tonight. Yeah, absolutely. We talked about the 1v1 situations. I thought he had a little bit of a nervy start in the first 10 minutes, but since then he certainly commanded that full-back area. Clark just tries to win it at the edge of the box onto Pritchard, comes back to Clark, driven shot deflected and blocked behind again by Wolfenden. And questions are being asked of this Ipswich Town defence, but they are standing tall. It's a corner to Sunderland. Well, Adam, I mean, I'm just about to take this corner now, but that's 11 shots Sunderland have had in Ipswich's 18-yard area, and they've had 1 shot on target. I think that tells its own story. That you've got a defence that just do not want to give up this clean sheet, throwing their bodies on the line. They've been outstanding. Pritchard, right-footed, swung towards the penalty spot. Ballard's there, half cleared by Luongo. Out as far as Roberts on that far touchline again. Now to Pritchard once more. He's got such clever feet. This time he goes back. Neal off the angle of the box, delivers a ball in, not the best. Headed clear that time by Burns. And now there's a chance to counter, and it's 2-on-1, and the break is on. Down that left-hand side, driving forward, Hutchinson towards the edge of the penalty area, in the box, tries the shot, takes the deflection. It's a great block from Ekwa and gathered by Patterson. And you kind of feel maybe that Hutchinson, on debut for Ipswich Town, should probably have passed that ball and it would have been 3-0 game. No, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you could see Ladapo had made the run with him after they initially won the ball in that centre circle. It was a 2v1 situation. You just got to work it better than that. And Hutchinson again, you'd see his eyes lit up. He wanted to take the strike on, but the simple pass was straight across the penalty area, and a simple little tap in it would have been for Ladapo. But again, you know, I've been so disappointed with Sunderland in this second half, and I think their set pieces and their balls into the area have just not been good enough this afternoon. The thoughts of the former Sunderland player, in fact Sunderland legend with over 350 appearances, Mickey Gray, on his Sunderland side this afternoon here against Ipswich Town at the Stadium of Light. There is still time, 5 minutes plus added time. Sirkin gets to the byline, cuts it back across. Oh, that's a very smart finish from the edge of the 6-yard area from Neal. And they're back in this game. We're in for a grandstand finish at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland pull one back with 5 minutes remaining. It's Sunderland 1, Ipswich Town 2. Well worked, absolutely brilliant from Dennis Sirkin over on this left-hand side. Just shrugged off the foul, used the bounce
just to make that little half a yard. He just pulls it into an area towards the penalty spot, and Dan Neil, perfect time, and just had to slot that one. The pace was on the cross, just had to slot it into the bottom corner. It's a super finish. That gave Hladky absolutely no chance in that Ipswich Town goal. Look, it's a lifeline. Another goal, they get something out of this Sunderland when possibly they don't deserve to. Down to 10 men, they've just got to dig deep and try and find some energy from somewhere to get themselves back on level terms.
Lyndon Gooch is on to replace Pierre Ekwa. 5th time in a row that Dan Neil has scored at the Stadium of Light. His last 5 goals all here in front of the home fans, and that was a very smart finish from a player who was actually playing right back since they went down to 10 men. But really good work from Dennis Serkin. And that Ipswich Town defence that was so solid last season in League One has been breached by the 10 men of Sunderland. 3.5 minutes plus added time to play it, of which I've got a funny feeling there's going to be a fair bit, Mickey.
Yeah, well, after the foul on Donatian, he stayed on the ground for quite a while, didn't he, before he actually came back onto the field. I don't agree with that rule, by the way, having to stay off the pitch for 30 seconds when the foul was against you. I think you should be able to come on as quick as you possibly can, but it is what it is. You're now going to sense a little bit of nervousness from the Ipswich, the away side, because of the time that's remaining in this game. As you talked about, the added time at the end of it as well. I said before, Sunderland have just made that change. Lyndon Gooch, lots of energy, and he's got to just try and just dig in and maybe find something for his side.
Listen to the crowd now. Pritchard gets it back from Clark and then laid off to Serkin. Now an opportunity here from that right hand side to push forward by Neil. On that far touchline it's Gooch. Gooch charging down to run that out of players. You know, he's just about kept it in, closed down, and there's a foul in fact, and it's going to be a free kick on that far side for Sunderland. It's level with the penalty spot. They are down to 10 men. There are 2 minutes remaining. We've seen some drama in the Championship this weekend, particularly in our live games, with that late winner for Southampton on Friday night when we got back underway. Already today, a late winner in stoppage time for Leicester. An equaliser for Leeds United against Cardiff, having been 2 down. Can Sunderland repeat the trick here against Ipswich Town? They were 2 down, remember. They pulled one back, having 10 men. And now we have an injury, but I think actually as the trainer comes on, he's got himself up and about, has Leif Davis, because he doesn't want to have to leave the field for 30 seconds, but I think the referee's going to make him anyway.
Well, because the physios came onto the field, you can see Davis has had to walk off the field, and now we are 10v10. But from a Sunderland perspective, you got yourself back into the game. Do not let anybody down, Adam, when you put this ball into the box. Try not to play that intricate football, just put it in there and take a risk.
And I think Pritchard's going to. Ballard is lurking inside the penalty area. Neil will be in there too. There are others lurking and waiting. Barr has made his way in. Clark is loose too. That's swung over by Pritchard, and it's headed down and into the ground and wide from Serkin. Had time maybe, made a good run, picked it up right at the edge of that 6-yard box, but just couldn't get much power on it, and down into the ground and wide it goes. And at the moment Ipswich Town are still down to 10 men, while Leif Davis is getting treatment on the far side. They have prepared Dominic Ball down below, should he be required, and the referee's already put the keeper here for time wasting, so they ought to get a shift on. Last 30 seconds of normal time. What an enthralling weekend of Championship action it's been. Sunderland 1, Ipswich Town 2. And we await with bated breath to find out from down below. Bobby Madley will tell us how long is going to be added on at the end of this game, in about 10 seconds or so. You listen to that roar around the Stadium of Light, if it's something substantial, I suspect. Ladapo now, down this right-hand side. Burns just chases after it, but it runs out of play. 13 added minutes at the end of this game have been added on by the referee.
This is incredible. We talk about coming into a new era. But look, if players are now wasting time, whether it's through injury or the goalkeeper hanging onto the ball for as much as he possibly can, it's all been ticked off now. And that is a huge amount of time to get yourselves back on level terms.
It is, even when you're down to 10 men. And Sunderland, listen to the atmosphere inside the Stadium of Light right now. What an enthralling finale we have for you. Towards the edge of the penalty area, away to our right-hand side, it's Patterson. Sunderland down to 10 men, 2-1 down. Back with Patterson again at the edge of his own penalty area. Kieran McKenna wanting to make a double substitution for Ipswich Town. We say it's a young Sunderland side, but they have experience in the Championship. The nerves have kicked back in for Ipswich Town, having been in control of this game, leading 2-0. Roberts on halfway. Gives it short to Neil again. He finds Ballard. Ballard once more. O'Nien wants it. Looks on this left-hand side to find the feet of Pritchard. And it's Pritchard in the centre circle. Clips the ball over the top. And it's a good run as well. Inside the penalty area. Here's Gooch. Left-hand side of the box. Tries to find Barr. It's going to be Sirkin to Gooch again. Gooch, edge of the box, left-hand side. Quick step over. Tries to win the corner. And that's surely out of play, and it is. And it will be a corner for Sunderland on this left-hand side. Ipswich will wait to make the substitutions.
Well, the roar that we've been waiting for the whole game. Sunderland supporters have now got something to cheer, because the players are now starting to get themselves back into the game, trying to get themselves back onto level terms. They're urging the players forward. Good play from Lyndon Gooch. Donasian had the chance to clear his lines, just let the ball run out of play, which gives Sunderland now this opportunity from a corner.
We've had 2 of the 13 minutes that have been added by Sam Barrett, our referee. No surprise, there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on inside that 6-yard box. The keeper tries to get there and he punches away, falling back into the danger zone and headed behind by Ladapo, and it's going to be another corner for Sunderland on the far side. Good defensive work by the Ipswich Town number 9.
Yeah, absolutely outstanding forward player. Ladapo came off the bench in the right place at the right time just to clear his lines.
Here they are again then. Gooch on that far side has the support of Roberts. Roberts going to lift this one into the box. Fairly direct as well it goes. It's headed away by the winger this time, Burns, who's back doing the defensive duty. And it's all hands to the pump for Ipswich Town right now. Patterson will gather it 5 or 6 yards outside his own penalty area. This is talksport 2. This is the Championship, and this is why we love it. It's the 10 men of Sunderland 1, Ipswich Town 2, and we've had 3 of 13 minutes added at the end of this game. We're off to the Wyndham Championship with PGA Tour Golf when we're done here, but you feel there's some more drama to come before that, as this time Clark loses possession. Pritchard does well, and now down that right hand side it's going to be with Dan Neil, the goal scorer for Sunderland. He finds on the far side Roberts and Gooch combining nicely inside the penalty area, still going, and the keeper's done brilliantly to save that from going out of play for a corner. That's a terrific piece of goalkeeping.
Backloff, Hladky, absolutely outstanding. We've criticised him at times with his feet, but this time he's on his toes. You see that run from Patrick Roberts, just breaking through, nearly falls for him. But when you need your goalkeeper in at a time, he was in the perfect place just to keep that ball in play, just to settle things down a little bit. But Adam, if you'd walked in this stadium right now, you would think Sunderland were winning 4-0. They'd had a brilliant performance. They were the ones who had 11 men, and Ipswich had 10 men. But it's not the case. It's too little too late. You're having to press and take chances and take risks to get yourself back on level terms.
Sirkin gives it short to Neil on halfway. He's got Pritchard inside the centre circle, and it's the small diminutive figure of Pritchard that he finds. 4.5 minutes of the 13 added played. It's still the 10 men of Sunderland 1, Ipswich Town 2. Towards the edge of the penalty area, Gooch tries to get away, but he's lost possession, and still those substitutes wait in the technical area down below for Ipswich Town, and the attempted pass that was going to set Hutchinson away was a poor one, and it's out for a throw on the far side in the remaining strip of sunshine on the far side of this wonderful Stadium of Light. Here comes the substitution for Ipswich Town. It's a double, and we're going to see the introduction of Greg Lee, and we're also going to see the arrival of Dominic Ball. So a couple of changes, and the first of which will see the departure of Donasian, and he's going to be replaced by Greg Lee. And the second substitution, Donasian of course getting booed after that earlier incident that saw Ballard booked as well, and I think it's going to be Leif Davis, the other player who may well be departing here. We're just waiting for confirmation, and it is going to be Lee who is going to go to the left back position, and also Dominic Ball who will come on to the right back position for Ipswich Town. So they've changed their fullbacks. We've had 5 of the 13 minutes that have been added, and Sunderland still going in search of an equalising goal. Here's Barr on this left-hand side. Right-footed. Clip to the far side, where he seeks out Lyndon Gooch, one of the Sunderland substitutes. Here's Pritchard, another of those. Wide on this left-hand touchline is Clark, who was playing as the only forward player for a period following that couple of changes, and that slipped inside the box. Wolfenden's there, but he's got beaten to it this time by Sirkin, had made the run inside the penalty area, and the ball across the edge of the 6-yard box has to be dealt with by Burgess, and it is dealt with well.
Yeah, fantastic defending there. Good play again from Sunderland.
2 balls on the pitch here, multi-balls in action, and the referee hasn't spotted the fact that there are 2 balls in play. One's inside the penalty area, one's at the feet of Dan Neil for Sunderland down this left-hand side. And now it's Barr. Barr still going. Edge of the penalty area. Clark thinks about the shot. Works it to the far side. Gooch is there. Looks to get the crossover. And is put behind it out of play off of Harness. And eventually the second ball is put out. The new multi-ball system in action in the AFL. Here's Roberts on the far side. Corner's taken short. Looks to cut inside Harness, who defends well. Oh, and then he loses out. Pritchard cuts it back. Away from the foot of Dan Ballard and towards the goal, where it's cleared by Ipswich Town.
Well, it's incredible. They're working the ball so well, Sunderland, from left to right. They're creating opportunities for themselves. They just wait for that one bit of good fortune. A ball just to fall to a Sunderland player in that 6-yard area, just to tap the ball in for the equalising goal. They're pushing for this equaliser. It's so hard. You can sense the crowd are getting behind them now as well. They've made the changes.
Pritchard in, nearly comes towards Ballard. Now on this left-hand side, here's Barr inside the penalty area. Sunderland searching for that equalising goal with the 10 men. Clark goes down. He's dispossessed. And then it's dribbled away really brilliantly by Sam Morsey, the Ipswich skipper. And now a chance. Ladapo's away. 1 against 1. Can he get round the defending of Neil? He does on his left foot. Tries to get the shot away, and he puts it over the crossbar. Dan Neil did brilliantly. He's been superb for Sunderland. He scored that goal, and there he shepherded Ladapo out wide, and his shot was wide in the end.
Well, outstanding from both sides. Ipswich winning the ball up high. Morsey, I think it was, who played the ball through to Ladapo. But outstanding, I have to say, from Dan Neil. 1v1 situation. Just shepherded him out to his left-hand side, his weaker left foot. Shot was never going to be on target. And Sunderland at the other end as well. So many gaps appearing in this game.
How is Morsey still running? He has not stopped. We are 8.5 minutes into the 13 added at the end of this game at the Stadium of Light. It's still the 10 men of Sunderland 1, Ipswich Town 2. You're on talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Brilliant from the Chelsea Loney Hutchinson. Can he pick the pass inside the penalty area? Harness with a chance to win it. The shot is deflected behind, and it's a corner to Ipswich on the far side.
Excellent play. Hutchinson over on this right hand side, just chopping that ball onto his left foot, looking for the run. Eventually does come from Harness on that left side. His first touch just let him down a little bit. He couldn't get control of it. If he had have done again, it's a simple strike on that Sunderland goal and towards Anthony Patterson, but I mean, there's no defending in the game whatsoever now, Adam. This is just end to end.
4 more minutes of added time to go, Mickey, and it remains Sunderland 1, Ipswich Town 2, and it's going to be a goal kick for Sunderland away to our right hand side. Can the 10 men muster up some kind of miracle here at the Stadium of Light?
Well, it's going to cause a lot of controversy, this added on time at the end of first halves and the full time. 13 minutes at the Stadium of Light, which is just incredible. You felt like the game was over. You're just ticking down time, Ipswich, but 13 minutes when you're tired, first day of the season, you've got nothing left, people making mistakes. There will be one more big chance in this game, Adam.
Niall Huggins is on down this left-hand side for Sunderland as they go in search of that equalising goal. 10 of the 13 added have been played. At this moment, Ipswich Town are hanging on. Sunderland 1, Ipswich Town 2. O'Neill gets it forward inside the centre circle. Ballard is now playing as an emergency centre forward here for Sunderland.
Wow.
O'Neill shifts it to the right-hand side. Gooch is there. Roberts makes a run ahead of him down that right-hand touchline. He's about 10 yards inside the Ipswich Town half. Attempted pass is blocked off, but then he does well to force his way forward. He gets the better of Greg Lee towards the corner flag. Gets the cross over. It's a brilliant cross to the back post, and Barr was there. It was hanging in the air for ages. He couldn't get on the end of it. Comes out there to Clark. Clark shimmies those pink boots down that left-hand touchline towards the byline. fights superbly, gets between two players, finds Pritchard and loads it in towards Ballard, who was looking for the header at the edge of the 6-yard box. The centre half doing the job of a good old-fashioned number 9 right now for Sunderland inside that penalty area. 11 of the 13 have been played. Here's Barr. You're listening to talksport 2, your home of the EFL, where it's the 10 men of Sunderland 1, Ipswich Town 2. 2 more minutes of added time to play. Roberts on that far side, cutting onto his left foot. Goes down, wants the free kick, not given. The Depot just gives it back to Morsey. Morsey forward to Hutchinson. He's tracked all the way by Huggins this time on this near touchline. The substitute has just come on for Sunderland. Infield though from Hutchinson. Does well. Manages to pick out ball. And now down that left-hand touchline. Here's Greg Lee towards the edge of the penalty area for Ipswich Town. His ponytail's bouncing in the sunshine. Gives it short to Harness. Harness back again. Ipswich is trying to keep control of the ball in that far corner. And to see time out here, here's Lee. Goes down that far touchline again, but runs it out of play. And Sunderland will have the throw on the far side as we enter the final minute of time added on.
Well, it's now or never, isn't it, Adam? Might as well take a risk, push players forward, give yourself that chance in the opposition's half. Talked about there being one big opportunity left in this game. Well, this is a chance for Sunderland to break forward.
Huggins to the edge of the centre circle inside his own half for those red and white stripes who are all pushing forward. Ballard's the target man, as we know. 09 driving forward down that far touchline. Gucci's there too. Picked up by Dan Neal. And here's the keeper Patterson on halfway for Sunderland. Down the left-hand side he goes, searching out that equalising goal. It's Pritchard now. He's got Barr outside him. Pritchard, left-footed ball across towards Ballard. It's headed clear. The Depot takes it down. Now Harness. Can he drive forward for Ipswich Town? Dispossessed by the hard-working Ballard, who's done brilliantly. He's got injured in the process, you feel. Now Pritchard down this left-hand touchline. Just when they need Ballard in the middle, he's not there. He's on the floor. Maybe with a bit of cramp too.
Oh, great
he puts it to the far touchline. Oh, it's off the post. And it's Neal again. Dan Neal could have been the hero. Instead it's Roberts who picks out his spot. Great save by the keeper. Calmed away. Back in again by Neal. But behind and out of play for a goal kick. What an opportunity. He's hit the post. And then the follow-up from Roberts that's driven in is saved. And we've had 13 minutes of added time. Ipswich will have the goal kick. And maybe that was Sunderland's last chance.
Well, what an incredible end to this game. Talked about there being that one opportunity before the full-time whistle was blown. Dan Neal on the volley, great ball to the back stick, lovely volley, super save from the goalkeeper, comes off the post, stays in play, and then that chance from Patrick Roberts as well there. I think it was blindsided the goalkeeper there, Hladky, but he got down to his left-hand side and made that all-important save.
We are in the 14th minute of added time here from the referee, Sam Barrett. So maybe there is one more chance for Sunderland. They trail 2-1, they have 10 men. But all the pressure is coming from them. It's going to be a throw for Ipswich Town, level with the edge of their own penalty area on this right-hand side. I joked earlier we might get out of here before midnight. Here's the throw down this near touchline. Any blow of the whistle and everyone looks as if to say, is that it? Maybe it's time, but maybe not just yet. Here's Patterson. Final chance maybe. We're into the 15th minute of added time. Launched forward by Patterson, but there is the final whistle at the end of a truly remarkable game. And it's Ipswich Town who mark their return to the Championship by taking all 3 points